Alright. Oh, that's so funny. The Dune video is getting more burned because of the fact that the trailer came out. Of course, that makes sense. To be fair, I'm probably gonna have to make a video. Not on the trailer, but like, I'll probably make a short on it or something. But, I don't know, I gotta see. So hello everybody, hope y'all are doing well. It's been about a week since the last stream, and as you all may know, if you watched that last stream, I finished the game. I finished the Great Ace Attorney Adventures. But what's it called? Now we're back a week later, and shoot, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I gotta make a new playlist for this game. Great Ace Attorney Resolve 2. Nope. Oldest. I never liked the when people make playlists and say, oh, you start from the newest to the oldest, and it's like, nah, man, that's weird. Start from the oldest to the newest. There you go. Now let's see. Great Ace Attorney Resolve. Great Ace. Oh, I gotta rename this. Great Ace Attorney Adventures VODs. Why did I name it playlist? Oh. Edit this one. Great Ace Attorney Resolve VODs. Resolve to VODs. There you go. Well, actually, I know the other one's not capitalized, so I'll just do this. There you go. Yuck, I gotta fix that. Yeah, no, I gotta fix that. But yeah, no, I'm super excited to play this game. Really excited. It's the last one took 18 VODs, or 18 streams, so I'm excited to see how many this one takes. This is a longer game, by the way, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was like 20 streams, maybe. But depending on how long I stream for, like each stream, then we could really see how it could turn out. But where am I? Yeah, alright. Right here. Anyways, as you can already tell, it's off to a good start when the music is bumping, so. Let me see. Spy live. Gotta make sure that you guys can hear me first and foremost. Yep, you guys can hear me. It's been a bit since I had to do a voice, but we ball, man. We ball up top. See what happens. By the way, I also have seen this game too, so I know the plot, but it's been a couple years, so I don't remember it too well. Let me move my mouse.
Standing here in the bright sunshine, looking out over the vast ocean. Those days in London seem like a dream. But I do miss my time in England's vast capital. You know, he's flourished into a truly wonderful lawyer. I've no doubt that at this very moment, he's fighting some noble cause in court. Forgive me for taking so long to come to visit you. My life has been such a whirlwind since I returned. And no one could have predicted what has happened. Just 2 months after arriving home.
I find myself faced with another awful crime.
So I came here today to ask something of you. Tomorrow, I shall be standing in court. For the only time in my life. As a lawyer. So please, I ask for your guidance. Kazuma-sama.
Oh, you look at that. Ooh. Ooh. Episode 1, the Adventure of the Blossoming Attorney. Well, will you look at this, man? Will you look at... Oh, so, okay. So, it's been 4 months since the end of the last game. But, yeah. Look at this, man. Look at this. We're back in Japan. You see all the judges up in the top right. Like, this is so cool. I can't even lie. This is so cool. I'm so excited to be playing this game, even though, like, it's only been 2 years since the start of, well, it's easy, since Adventures and Resolve, when they came out in Japan. It was 2015 to 2017. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it's not that graphically different. Maybe look a little better, but that's it. And besides, they're also 3DS games as well, so it's not gonna be like so crazy, like or it's not visually impressive in terms of like what we're used to today. Granted, this is the Chronicles edition, so maybe it does look better. But point is that like these games aren't far enough apart to where you'll notice a substantial difference, but these games are wildly different. Like this isn't like a Xenoblade Chronicles 1 to 2 type of situation. This is like a Trails, what was it called? Trails in the Skies? Is that what that series is called? Because I know, and I'm not saying like the Trail series in general. I mean like Trails in the Sky. Trails in the Sky. That's what it's called. It's like a Trails in the Sky into Trails from Zero type of transition. But yeah, let's keep going. 13th of August, 8:26 a.m. Supreme Court Adjudicature, Defendant's Antechamber 3. Thank God I never have to wait. No, what am I talking about? Of course I wake up that early. I have to wake up early for work. What am I talking about? Ooh, we're back. Here I am again after 9 months. The Supreme Court of Judicature, Japan. I feel so nervous, but I must steel my nerves and find a way to compose myself. And by the way, I want to mention, we're playing as Suzuto. This is awesome. This is the first time we don't follow someone that's Naruhodo, you know? That's so cool. I don't remember Mikotoba's voice, the one that I gave him. Let me see if I can find it, see what I went for. Because there's so many people that I just give deep voices to in these games that, like, I know I'm gonna butcher it. The great Isatoni. And I know that I had the same exact problem because I was here in the first stream. Like, literally the timestamp that I came to was the first stream, 24 minutes in, and it's Yujin Mikotoba again. Because when do we see him? Barely ever. But that will change. Okay, a little, like, not somber, but like subdued type of voice. Okay. Oh goodness, excuse me. Oh man. Oh, good, you're here. It doesn't do for a lawyer to be late. Oh, yes, Good morning, sir. Sorry, I got into my Naruhodo bag for a second. That's not who you are. Yes. Good morning, sir. I hardly recognize you. You got a fine figure, Counsel. But you look as white as a sheet, and those white eyes aren't doing you any favors either. Oh dear. The truth is, I'm so incredibly... Considering what happens in this case, maybe doing an Naruhodo voice, like Suzuto doing a Naruhodo impression, would be pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, it might be the one. The truth is, I'm so incredibly nervous I feel utterly nauseated. I almost wish that I'd never been born. Goodness, not the sort of thing a father hopes to hear from his daughter, I must say. Yujin Mikitoba, professor of medicine at the Imperial Yume University. A man who, earlier in his life, traveled to Great Britain to study the latest advances in forensic medical science. And of course, my brilliant father. Imagine having so much pride in your father like that. Like, that's so cool. Like, just being able to say, my brilliant father. Excuse me. There she is. Would I be correct in thinking that you're to be my lawyer in court today? Yes, that's right, miss. Let me see if I can. Yes, that's right, miss. Well, I want to thank you for agreeing to represent me. I swear on my life. It's a complete fabrication, this whole thing! Raymond Bobby. Born the same year as I, and my greatest friend. Though unusual for a woman in our time, she works at the University Research Laboratory, helping my father. And sadly, she's the defendant in today's trial, accused of committing a truly awful murder. Are you feeling alright? Since we started talking, you seem, well, to have become a little flushed. Oh. That animation was so smooth. Oh my goodness, wait. Alright. Oh my, it's just that. You look so gallant and dashing. Sorry? And when I fall under your intense gaze, it makes me feel rather bashful. Goodness, I don't think she knows. She hasn't realized who I am. It would seem a little bland, but his trial is going to work. Oh, wait, what do you mean, Professor Mikitoba? If even your best friend can't see through the disguise, I think we can relax. To turn. Disguise? Yes, I never tried dressing this way before, of course, so I wasn't sure how convincing it would be. But this does make me feel a little relieved, as you say, Father. Father? What? Is that you, Suzuto? I'm so sorry I didn't say something sooner, Ray. Wait a second. It's just that. Whoa, no, what? Wait, hold on. Let me fix that. No! What are you doing? What's going on? What? That varsity uniform, that varsity cap, that varsity cape, that varsity badge. Look at you. You look for all the world just like a student of the Imperial Yume University. A male student. I'm so glad you think so. It means all my preparations have been worthwhile. I woke at 4 this morning to make a start. But I don't understand. Why are you dressed like that? Well, you see, it was the only way. The only way she would be permitted into the Supreme Court to take on your defense in this trial. My defense? Never before in my life have I felt so frustrated at having been born into this body. Courts in Japan are barred to women. We're not even allowed to set foot inside the courtroom. Despite the fact that the laws of the land apply to all people, male and female alike. But women are forbidden. Just for today, I'll be leaving my true self at the courtroom door, so that I can act as your lawyer. Oh, Suzuto, you go to such lengths for me? Of course, you're my greatest friend. I just worry that I shan't be the lawyer you deserve. Oh no, I have complete faith in you. Ray. It's so strange though. I mean, you're such an accomplished judicial assistant already, and yet just because you're a woman. What a wretched reason! I mean, why shouldn't you be allowed in a court? You're so gallant and dashing. Right? Please don't look at me like that. With those flushed cheeks and doting eyes. Oh, I'm sorry, it's just... You really do look so dashing. Yes, you mentioned that once or twice. Lesbians. You should be pleased. It means you look convincing as a man. I guess not lesbians, since it'll be more. I guess it'd be more cross-dressing, but still, it'd be like Cloud cross-dressing in not the Golden Saucer. John Cordeo's thing. There you go. Goodness, excuse me. I am pleased. I think. Certainly helped to bolster my confidence today. Ray, you're managing to put on a brave face in all of this, but I can see through it. I noticed how your shoulders are slumped, and how you're trembling ever so slightly. Suzuto, you do believe me, don't you? I didn't do it. I couldn't have. I mean, murder. Of course. You have nothing to worry about. Your conscience is perfectly clean. Isn't that right? Yes. Yes, it is. Perfectly clean. She's like Maya. I don't know why, but she reminds me of her. Well, granted, I could probably pull up Maya's picture right now and see. Yeah, she looks a lot like Maya, actually. It's so funny, you look at Maya in the original Ace Attorney series, and you look at her in like Spirit of Justice. That is a grown woman. That is genuinely a grown woman. It's so funny. I think Ray might be. I think she might be. What's her face? Maya's descendant. To the no, not descendant. What's her name? Predecessor. There you go. I guess not. I don't know. I don't have any confirmation, but we'll see. Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm still looking for it. There you go. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind about your innocence. Or, excuse me, I have absolutely no doubt in my mind about your innocence, which is why I'll stand by you until the bitter end in this trial. Whatever happens, I'll always be on your side, because that's what it means to be a defense lawyer. It means so much to me, Suzuto. Defendant, counsel. Court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. You should go in at once, Ray. If you're late, the judge won't hesitate to pronounce you guilty. Oh. Stand aside! I don't think I've ever seen her run so fast. Well, Suzuto, certainly surprised your father. Going to such lengths to be admitted into the courtroom, with no prior experience being a lawyer. There is simply no other way. That's all there is to it. But father, you haven't told her, have you? I mean, am I assuming that Ray doesn't know how it came to this? Yes, quite right. I've kept that information from her. It only worried her if she found out that no other lawyer would agree to take her case. I didn't want to burden her with that. And is it true? The reason why every other lawyer is refusing to take the case? Is it really because of who the victim is? We should be making a move now too. As you know, law isn't my field, but I'll do what I can to support my student. Thank you, Father. I'm Suzuto Mikitoba, a judicial assistant. 8 months ago, I accompanied a student of law on a study trip to Great Britain. But 2 months ago, due to unforeseen circumstances, I found myself back in Japan. How many times have I wished that you were here, I wonder? Still, I have no choice now but to steel myself for the trial ahead. Wish me luck, Naruhodo-san. 13th of August, 9 a.m. Supreme Court. I'll get executioner. Oh. Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 1. Wow, they don't show her eye. Oh, that's interesting. There you go. This court is now in session to hear the trial of Raymond Membami. The prosecution is fully ready to proceed, Your Excellency. Defense counsel, are you ready? Yes, Your Excellency. We are ready. Ready! Yes, counsel. According to your registration details, your name is, Ryutaro Naruhodo. Is that correct? Sorry? Oh yes, I had to come up with a suitable male name for you for this little adventure. So I'm afraid to say I simply put down the first thing that sprung to mind. Well, counsel. Yes, that's right. That's me. Yes, I'm Ryutaro. He who was vowed a... it's so funny. being back here in Japan and somehow still being the nervous Naruhodo that we always were. Like, even if it's just a different person. Yes, I am Ryutaru. He who has vowed to uphold the pride of the great Naruhodo clan. It seems Ryutaro may need to consider how to better uphold his manly act first to not overdo it. And those wide eyes aren't doing you any favors either. Just relax and listen. Naruhodo? A fresh face in this courtroom, if I'm not mistaken. But the name Naruhodo, would that perchance be? You may be thinking of Ryunosuke Naruhodo, currently in Britain as part of the study program. This is his cousin. That's right. Ryutaro here has been studying in the provinces, but was called to the capital for this trial. I assure you, in matters of law, his knowledge rivals that of any Tokyo's preeminent lawyers. Any of them. What a pitiful situation. Have you been rejected by every lawyer in the capital? Excuse me, sorry. Oh my goodness. Oh. Sorry, just acid reflux or something. Have you been rejected by every lawyer in the capital? The accused has had to call in a country boy. How dare you! Suzuto is every bit as gallant as dashing as any of your Tokyo attorneys. I won't have you making fun of her. Her? Oh, please be careful, Ray. What an unrefined tomboy we have here. But I wonder, is your gallant and dashing lawyer up to the challenge of defending you? His wide, skittish eyes very much suggest that he is not. I'm so nervous. Now that I'm standing in his shoes, I'm starting to understand what Naruhodo-san goes through. Like it or not, eyes are... That's weird, I well, I think I said this in the last game too, I never seen it spelled like that. Like it or not, eyes are wont to flit. Oh, excuse me. The case to be heard on this day is a matter of great significance to our national interest. In fact, it would be reasonable to assume that the outcome of this trial may well affect the very future of our empire. That is alcohol. That is just alcohol. Just like the trial 9 months ago. And yet for proceedings of such importance, we have this unknown yokel by the dock. Dear me. Perhaps this would be an appropriate moment for me to assess the defense, to determine whether you are sufficiently competent to practice in this courtroom. 9 months ago, or 9 months ago, when a certain other Naruhodo stood where you're standing now. The same judge tested him as well. And even though he was just a student at the time, not even of law, he passed the test with flying colors. Because it was a tutorial. What? For a trained and experienced judicial assistant, this would be easy. So, counsel, do you consent to answering some simple questions? There you go. Oh, there you go. She took it off. All right. This is so funny because this is like not Naruto, sorry, Naruto. Like Naruto from Persona 4. Down to the outfit and everything. Sorry. Hi, just to prove myself. She does the same thing. She does the same thing. That's so funny. Yes, Your Excellency. But please do make them simple. Very well. To start with, you will state the name of the victim. Oof. That is simple. Couldn't forget that if I tried. I mean, even if I didn't know the court record, it's Giselle Brett. What's the matter? Now that I'm standing in his shoes, I'm starting to understand something else Naruhodo-san goes through. Like it or not, minds are want to blank. It's not surprising, really. It's your first time in this position, and in that guise. Even a bright spark like you is bound to flicker and falter a little under the circumstances. Oh, sorry, give me 1 second. I think a package just got here for me. Which one's this one? Hello, hello. Yeah, that's me. Okay, there you go. we should be good. Yeah, so I my package was here, and it's ReZero. It's some ReZero light novels that I bought. I haven't told you guys on stream yet, or like ever, but I've been reading ReZero since like October, and what's it called? I completely forgot what I was gonna say. I completely forgot what I was gonna say. I'm looking through the novel right now, like the ones that I got, because like I didn't just start. I'm on arc 6, or at least I'm about to be on arc 6. But like right now, like this is so cool. I'm at the end of arc 5. I'm on the final book, but it's just so interesting. Like I don't know anything about arc 6. I don't know what's about to happen, so I'm really excited when I get to it. But one of the books that I just recently got, which granted, like, why are these books, it's weird because these books for arc 6 are super short. Usually ReZero goes up to like what, 250 260 pages. These books are super short. They're like around 200 to 230. They're not that long at all. But it's really cool. I'm not gonna lie, it's different because this is like akin to like the first couple of novels, like arc 1 and arc 2 levels of like length. I really like that. It's super cool. I'm excited though, because like arc 6 looks pretty interesting. I'm interested to see what's about to happen. I can't wait to get there. Granted, the first book for it is gonna take a while for me to buy or get, because of how long it's gonna take to get here. But ooh, the final book of this arc is like 300 pages long. I love that. It's gonna be awesome to read. Have to make sure though. One thing's for certain. Yep. Arc 6. I can't wait to read it. I can't wait to read it. Oh my goodness. Anyways, let me get back to the game. Oh man, I hear a lot of talk about how Arc 6 is highly revered around the community, and since that's the only arc I haven't seen yet. Well, excuse me, the only arc. Well, no, excuse me. Let me say this right. It's the arc. It's the arc that hasn't been animated yet, and that's the arc that I'm getting to now. So I'm super excited to see this new content, especially since it's gonna be animated soon too. So I get to see the contrast as well. I'm probably not going to finish it before the anime comes out, because like the anime comes out in like 2 weeks. I'm definitely not gonna be able to finish it before that, but I'm just interested in what's about to happen. Like, it's gonna be so cool. But that aside, ball up top, let's do it. Okay. Even a bright spark like you is bound to flicker and falter a little under the circumstances. Oh dear. This is a dismal failure. Don't fret. You only use the knowledge you've gained as a judicial assistant to overcome the problem. Of course, the court record. The gameplay mechanic we need to explain. Yes, the answer will be amongst all the key information about the case in the court's record. That's right. Just use the E button to open the court's record. The what, father? The E button. You need to flip to the people page. Excuse me. You need to flip to the people section with the E button. The what, father? I already said this. It'll take too long over it. His Excellency is watching you closely. Alright, check the court record with the E button. That's where the information I need will be. Alright, let's read this. Well, first of all, let me see this. Post-mortem report. Time of death just after 2 p.m. Death is believed to be due to trauma to the victim's lung from a knife blade. Only a single wound was identified. Victim, female, Giselle Brett, female, British. Time of death, 11th of August around 2 p.m. Ascertained by examination of witness statements. Cause of death, single deep stab wound from behind, piercing the lung and resulting in a fatal hemorrhage. Death would have occurred within minutes. Notes, extreme meiosis, pupil constriction was observed in the victim in both eyes. I can't talk today, wow. Court's record. She's 25 now, look at that. That's crazy. Because she was 24 at the start of the last game. Well, yeah, that's unfortunate too, because she is dead now. And granted, a lot of people will be like, "Oh, she deserved it. She was so annoying. She committed murder or whatever." And it's like, I'm not gonna agree or deny it. It's just more the fact that, like, you know, death is still death at the end of the day. Like, someone having their life cut short, especially at the tender age of 25, is still pretty crazy. But also, she did commit a murder. I can't even deny that. There you go. Yujin Mikotoba, 43. A medical school professor at the Imperial Yume University. He is an authority in forensic medicine in charge of the university's laboratory. He also happens to be my father. My best friend, who works as an assistant to my father in his laboratory at the Imperial Yume University. She's the defendant in this case. Giselle Brett, the victim of the case, who was a former British exchange student. 9 months ago, she was found guilty of the murder of a visiting professor, Dr. John Wilson. Takatsuchi Auchi, the lead... I forgot they cut his hair. The lead prosecutor of his case, who appears to be struggling to accept the changes afoot as a result of these turbulent new times in Japan, the Meiji era. I'm waiting, counsel. What is the name of the victim in this case? Me. There you go.
Yes.
The name of the victim who lost her life in this case is Miss Giselle Brett. Giselle Brett. A name that will never be forgotten in the courtrooms of our country, I'm sure. I don't think they do this in a real courtroom, because it wouldn't make sense. Why would you not know who the victim is? Especially if you're a defense attorney. But it's just so funny to imagine, like... Alright, counsel. What is the name of the victim? I don't know. I really don't know. Being a member of our empire's judiciary, you will be aware of the significance of that name. So, let me pose another simple question. As you know, Miss Brett was a visiting student from the Empire of Great Britain. Why then is her name indelibly associated with our own empire's judicial history? Obviously, you won't have forgotten that case from 9 months ago, especially since you were in it. But it's proving hard to recall the finer points. Everything you need is in the court's record. Obviously, I still remember. That was the start of everything. Giselle Brett. Behind the woman's student persona was the face of Queen Victoria. What?
Yes.
A killer. Where's that video? Wait a second, hold on. If you kill a killer, the number of killers in the world stays the same. That's so funny, bro. Please, here you go. It's almost 5 million views, bro. Oh my goodness. If you kill a killer, the number of killers in the world stays the same. He's right. I think I used this video for one of my videos. Like I put it in like the end screen that I usually use. Oh man, that's so funny. If you kill a killer, the number of killers in the world stays the same. Oh, okay, kill two. I've killed like 100. Like, bro, what? Oh my goodness, he's right. That video is so funny. 9 months ago, a visiting professor of medicine at the Imperial Yuma University was killed, and the culprit was Giselle Brett. Yes, she was a killer. At the time, our country had just signed a new treaty with the Empire of Great Britain, and it was in the midst of this delicate diplomatic situation that the incident occurred. An Englishman, Dr. John H. Wilson, the only portrait that we ever have of this guy, was shot dead. I believe he was an associate of hers, Professor. That was the judge the whole time. Wow. Oh, let me fix that. At the time, our country had just signed a new treaty with the Empire of Great Britain, and it was in the midst of this delicate diplomatic situation that the incident occurred. An Englishman, Dr. John H. Wilson, was shot dead. I believe he was an associate of yours, Professor Mikitoba. Yes, I was indebted to the man. He had been my mentor when I went to London to study forensic medicine. Indeed, it was I who invited him here to Japan as a visiting professor at the university. Naturally, the murder of an Englishman on our soil was a matter the government wished to resolve rapidly. Indeed it was, which is why a secret trial was conducted here at the Supreme Court. A student of the Imperial Yuma University was arrested on suspicion of murder. A second-year English language student by the name of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Naruhodo, you do it like this! Like what? Like, how do you do it, Asoge? I don't understand. With the help of his best friend, the student lawyer, the accused conducted his own defense. And exposed the despicable crime committed by Miss Giselle Brett. Miss Brett eventually admitted to her crime. However, when questioned about the motive that drove her to take Dr. Wilson's life, she gave no satisfactory answer before the trial reached its conclusion. Which, by the way, I did remember that. She never gave a reason as to why she did it. She just admitted to doing it, and that's it. Which, it's a good thing to remember. Immediately after the trial, the British government brought its consular jurisdiction into play. We were unable to sentence Miss Brett according to our empire's laws. It was decided that she would be removed to Shanghai, China instead. Why Shanghai? There's a British consular court there. There's a British consular court there. Correct, I oversaw the negotiations personally. The date of her transfer to Shanghai was finally settled upon only last week. All that remained of our empire's obligations was to see the woman safely aboard on a steamship. Which, granted, she has been murdered. She has been murdered. And yet the very day of her departure, the Englishwoman was killed. Only the day before. She's so tall. I guess in comparison to Suzuto, she's so tall. That will do. I'm satisfied that the counsel for the defense is sufficiently capable of representing the defendant. Oh. Thank you, Your Excellency. Over the first hurdle. Now, a summary of the incident, if you please. Prosecutor Ouch. As you wish, or as is your wish, Your Excellency. The repugnant crime took place on the 11th of August in broad daylight. On the outskirts of the imperial capital, under a bright blue sky, at a secluded bathing spot by the sea. The incident occurred inside a small beach hut erected for for bathers to rest or change their clothes. The cause of death was a single stab wound to the posterior abdomen that pierced the victim's lung, an injury which proved fatal. There were two persons alone together in the beach hut at the time of the victim's death. Miss Brett in her bathing attire, and the accused, Raymond Bombay. Accordingly, there can be no doubt of the accused's guilt, especially when we consider she had a powerful motive. The police arrived rapidly at the scene and promptly arrested the young lady. But what's the motive? You can't say that and not give one. Well, that extraordinary description of events leaves me somewhat lost for words, I must say. That's certainly true. Prosecution summary. It's full of words that raise an awful lot of questions. As a lawyer, I really ought to pick up the prosecution counsel on what he said about being, yeah, a powerful motive. You're clearly exaggerating. Powerful motive is a blatant overstatement. It's the yokel boy using long words he doesn't fully understand. I beg your pardon. No matter, let's put this to the accused, shall we? Manbami-san, you are a research assistant at Imperial Human University, I believe. Yes, I am. I'm working with Professor Mikitoba in his laboratory at the moment. I can confirm that. The defendant is an excellent assistant with a strong sense of responsibility. Fascinating to hear. Now another question. Prior to your work with Professor Mikitoba, whose research were you assisting then? Oh, well, I was studying under Dr. John H. Wilson. Dr. John H. Dr. Wilson! The visiting English professor who was murdered by Miss Brett 9 months ago. Yes, Judge. We know. The accused had a deep-seated respect for her former mentor, Dr. Wilson. Is that not true? Yes, Dr. Wilson was a wonderful man. Interesting. Tell the court what deep-seated feelings you had towards the Englishwoman who killed him. Well, obviously I was filled with hatred for what she'd done. A powerful hatred. Oh no, Ray, be careful of what you're saying. They're gonna kill you. Hold on, wait a second. Why is Charlemagne interviewing Henry Danger? What is this? Oh, oh my goodness. Oh yeah, yeah. Henry Danger definitely took that guy's girlfriend. Hell nah, bro. Talking about she made her own decision of her own free will. She broke up with him and then got with me. I can't control what she does. No, you definitely made her. You definitely had influence over that. Ain't no way you can dodge that. I didn't. I didn't. Yo, dog. Hold on. I gotta save that. Oh my goodness. I did it. There you go. The motive was a wrench. Plain and simple, Your Excellency. Gotta give it to him. I said, it makes sense. Well, it was clearly a trap all along. How wicked of him to use Ray's undying respect for her former mentor, against her like that. Must find out more details. There's something we can use to bolster our defense. As a lawyer, we're allowed to pick up the prosecution. Oh, pick up the prosecution counsel on what he said about being alone together, sure. Mbami-san. Yes? What is it? I mean, oh. Naruhodo-san. I'm really starting to wish you made my alias Ryutaro Suzuto. I love that. I love that pose because that's a pose Suzuto would hit. That's so cute. They have Suzuto hitting Naruhodo poses while still having her underlying poses, you know, sprinkled in there. It's so cute. Please tell the court why exactly you were present at the bathing spot with the victim in the first place. And why you were alone with her. Oh, well, no, that's not true. It wasn't like that at all. There were other people present. A detective who was guarding Miss Brett for starters. I was just asked to accompany Miss Brett as a companion, that's all. But let us be clear. At the moment of her death, you were alone together with the victim in the hut. You and no one else. The truth is, there is only one reason why this young woman accompanied Miss Brett on her bathing sojourn. Before I continue, I do gotta check something. I want to see if I can get the trophy. Oh, that's cute. Look at Steve. It's adorable. Leave that chicken alone, man. Leave him alone. Anyways, the Ryunosuke Naruhodo trials. Suzuto-san! Let's see. Trophies. Okay, we'll see. The truth is, there is only one reason as why this young woman accompanied Miss Brett on her bathing sojourn. It was the accuser's last chance to take the victim's life. No. Because, as we know, the following day would see Miss Brett extradited to the British authorities in Shanghai. And the accused would never have an opportunity to dispatch her again. Yo, I will destroy you. Kindly refrain from conjecture, counsel. The prosecution counsel seems to enjoy using provocative tricks like that. But for now, at least we need to assemble more facts. Try not to let him go with you. Oh dear, this is really terrifying. My father's right. We need more information. As a lawyer, I really ought to pick up the prosecution on the bathing spot. If I may, Prosecutor Aoshi. What do you want, you fresh-faced young yokel student? I wonder, could you please explain? You mentioned a bathing spot. My apologies. Clearly my modernity has confused the poor country bumpkin's simple mind. Bathing spots are the very latest trend in health practices from the West. We are told that bathing in the water of the ocean is curative, therapeutic, and excellent for the skin. No, that's not what I meant. I was referring to the fact that Miss Brett had, to all intents and purposes, been found guilty of murder. Why would a known criminal have been relaxing by the sea? That's your reason. For old time's sake, I believe. Sorry. Miss Brett was to depart for Shanghai the following day. Her final wish, as it were, was to enjoy a day at our country's wonderful coast. And the British embassy put extreme pressure on our government to comply. But on what grounds will we agree to such a request? Because, as usual, our government is unable to stand up to foreign powers. In matters of diplomacy, it seems you don't even have the courage to decline the whims of a known criminal. Don't look at me like that, Professor. It was the government who granted permission, not I. In any case, it was decided that with the dedicated detective on duty, nothing could go wrong. And it went wrong. But in fact, a murder took place. I said don't look at me. It was the young girl student who did it, not I. No one has proved that yet. I want to provoke the man if you don't need to. I believe we all have a clear picture of the incident now. Despite her guilt being determined 9 months ago, Miss Brett managed to avoid incarceration, still continuing her research work at the university. Obviously, over that period, she and Ray would have encountered each other on a number of occasions. They just let her be. Wow. Yeah, no, I don't know what's going on with this game's version of Japan and how they're just bending the knee. Like, they're legit just letting it happen. I'll let that happen. Seeing the murder of the mentor for whom she had such great respect enjoying such undeserved liberty. Yes. Even if it was only temporary until Miss Brett's extradition to Shanghai. Man, just slide it in, bro. It's over. Extradition to Japan, to Shanghai, I can't talk, man. What's going on? What is happening? Why am I selling the bag in the first stream? They're gonna hate me. The HUDs are gonna hate me. There you go. Extradition. I'm so dumb. It's extradition. There you go. Yes, even if it was only temporary until Miss Brett's extradition to Shanghai, you can hardly blame Ray for her feelings of anger and resentment. Poor Ray. So, Your Excellency, if you'd be so kind as to peruse this exhibit. A photographic print that shows the scene of the crime immediately following the grim incident. Yes, thank you, Counsel. A tragic image. As you can clearly see, there's nowhere within the hut that anyone else could have hidden. The courts will accept this photographic print as evidence. The photograph of the crime scene has been attended to the court record. A photographic print of the scene taken by the police just after the incident occurred. The stab wound in the victim's back is clearly visible. As I understand it, then the victim and the defendant were alone inside the beach hut at the time. He has long hair. I just realized that you can see his ponytail swinging from behind. That's funny. This is deeply troubling, I must say. The figure of guilt points firmly at the defendant. Well, Your Excellency, naturally the prosecution has much more to its case. We intend to prove the accused's appalling actions beyond all possible contention. To that end, I can confirm that we have multiple witnesses to the crime and damning evidence. Witnesses? But who? One of whom I might add is a highly respected police detective. I assure you, the testimony of these witnesses will leave no room for doubt. Very well then, counsel. Bring forth your witnesses. I, Takatsuchi, have been waiting for this moment. Sorry? Oh yes, I haven't forgotten. The trial 9 months ago, here in this very courthouse. When that irreverent little student boy utterly humiliated me. Yep. Ah, Ryunosuke Naruto. What? Yes? What do you want, bro? What is wrong with you? This insult to the Aochi family name will never be forgiven, indeed forgotten. You become conceited with age, counsel, but the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that. Strike the head of the samurai whose top knot has been cut, and the bell of cultural enlightenment tolls. Yes, on that fateful day, my former self died. The start of your own Meiji Revolution. Are you modernizing as well, counsel? Silence! Since I swore revenge back then, there's been a minor miracle atop my head. Observe. The Aochi growth! You see the seed of hope sprouting forth from the barren expanse of my crown. I think that tiny growth is trying to tell me something. I'm afraid I can't really see where's the hope exactly? I said silence! Today, I face another yokel student of the Naruhodo clan. Well, I will vanquish you! And my victory will be fertilizer for the seed of hope atop my head. You have been warned. With that, the prosecution calls the witnesses to the stand. Looks like the stakes are high on both sides in this trial. The prosecution and defense each has much to lose. A haircut is hardly comparable. Dude, a haircut is hardly comparable to Ray's life. Now will you look at this? Will you look at who's here? Witnesses, please state your names of occupations for the court. Chief Inspector Hosotaru Hosonaga. Imperial Police Bureau. I'm in disguise, obviously, so I can go undetected. And I am, well, the next big thing in the books, and an author renowned through the capital. In fact, yes. Soon to be sold out, the satirical I Am a Cat, a sensational success by Sasaki Nasumi. Oh my goodness. Struggling student from the provinces, please. You need to be in awe of me. I need it? It's only natural that you feel nervous in my presence. But all of you, please relax. Call me Saseki even. Yes. What on earth is Saseki-san doing here? Tread carefully, Suzuto. That other fella knows you from your time in London, doesn't he? If he exposes you for who you really are, this will be over before it's begun. Yes, of course. I know. I presume Saseki-san won't have forgotten about me. I could certainly never forget about him. Although he does seem to have changed somewhat in the 6 months or so that it's been since I last saw him. And as far as Inspector Hosonaga, an amazing outfit is hard to believe. Do I have something on my face? Well, your glasses for one, although they don't seem to be helping you see. Thank goodness he hasn't recognized me either. Ah, I suppose it's his disguise, is it? I thought that appearing here in the clothes I was wearing at the time would make for a more faithful testimony. It is my guiding principle to carry out all testimonies flawlessly, which has not been proven true. Well, I can appreciate why an Imperial Police Bureau detective might have been present. But what business did a writer such as yourself have being at the scene, Sasaki-san? It's funny how Sasaki's outfit is a Japanese version of the outfit he had in Britain. It's pretty funny. Oh, well, you see, I've been asked that day to give a lecture. On the morning of the incident, in the Imperial Yumi University's Grand Lecture Hall, no less. At Yumi University? At the lecture, I had a very pleasant conversation with the researcher from the Medical Science Department. The professor over there, in fact. With Professor Mikotoba? Yes, that's right. It was arranged by one of the newspapers. They wanted some story or other about two former students who study in Great Britain. Of course, being a renowned author, the press never leave me alone. They secretly spy, snapshots, scribble stories, and scupper my privacy. As you can see, the conversation was written in this newspaper here. Read it at your leisure, my provincial struggling student friend. I have plenty of copies. Thank you very much. He practically threw the paper at me. The Sasaki Natsumi article has been entered into the court record. A newspaper containing an article about a discussion between father and Sasaki-san. The debate became quite spirited. That's funny, it's in pure Japanese. The camera's broken too, that's weird. And then he has his cat. Oh wow, that's adorable. Anyway, following my interview with the professor, the lady in question appeared and made a very unexpected announcement. I should like to go with everyone to see your country's coast. Those were her words. As I explained before, Miss Brett was never taken into custody. She continued to work in my laboratory, under strict surveillance, of course. At which utterance, the university immediately contacted the government to seek guidance. And the response was, permit Miss Brett to go as long as a detective accompanies her. It's funny, look at his skin. It's has a little tan to it compared to what it was, you see? Like, it's so pale compared to what it usually looks like. And it's Saseki. Anyway, let's read this. I already read this. Satoru Hosonaga, a chief inspector in the Imperial Police Bureau who was superstitiously submerged in the sea in order to keep watch over Miss Brett. He was present at the time of her murder. A former visiting student to the British Empire, who returned to Japan after a spell of bad luck with the law. He's now a successful author and a witness in the current case. Glad to see that Sasaki's doing better now. It's always nice. That detective I am at liberty to divulge was me. Chief... Oh wow, excuse me, sorry. It's just so annoying. Okay. That detective I am at liberty to divulge was me. Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga. Oh, sorry, I didn't see the person who typed this, but no, this isn't my first time playing it. You're probably not going to see this, since I don't think you're in a stream anymore, but yeah, no, this is not my first time playing this game. Thereby, the entire party departed cordially for the seaside, it seems. It was extremely challenging to clear all the other members of the public from the vicinity of the beach. Look at the turtle on his head, man. That's cute. Unfortunately, I am at peak physical fitness at the moment, so I was able to carry out my duty flawlessly. Oh my, Inspector, you... Well, there's something on your face now. How unsightly. I do apologize. Does that mean you went to the beach too, Father? No. Fortunately, I had work to finish off. But unfortunately, of course, it meant that, as my assistant, Ray was invited to take my place. Of course, being a renowned author, I didn't like to decline the invitation. Oh, but if only I had. I never have seen that awful sight. Relentlessly racked by remorse and regret. Very well. I must now ask you to present your formal testimony to the court. You will give an account of all that you witnessed on your impromptu excursion to the coast. Of course, Your Excellency. Relentlessly racked by remorse and regret I am. The witness scene. On the day of the incident, I was ordered on a special surveillance assignment in this disguise. I just managed to catch that crab and I suddenly heard a cater. Huh? What is that? I see. Okay. Well, okay. The problem was I looked up what it meant, but I didn't see what it how it was pronounced. Actually, let me see. Caterwaul. Okay. I just managed to catch that crab, but I suddenly heard a caterwaul from behind me. I ran to the beach hut at once, but I found the pair in question. Yes. The young girl was astride the young Englishwoman, dagger in hand, as she stabbed wildly. I saw blood on the blade. It proved to me that she'd stabbed the victim multiple times. That's the problem, though. Even if she did, she only stabbed once. Indeed. It does appear from this testimony that both witnesses here present saw it, the very moment of this heinous crime. What? Now, if you will recall, I promised evidence as well. What phrase did I use again? Ah, yes, that's what it was. Damning evidence. What have you there, Counsel? A so-called fountain pen, is it? Correct, Your Excellency. I found it at the scene whilst expanding. Oh goodness. I found it at the scene whilst examining the body. It appears that in her dying moments, with her final ounce of strength, the victim clutched a piece of evidence that would positively identify her killer. What? Your Excellency, if you would cast your eyes over the photographic prints of the crime scene once more. Oh, goodness me. Yes, the victim is clearly grasping something quite deliberately there in her hand. That's right, the fountain pen. And if you would kindly examine the pen, Your Excellency. Ah, the owner's initials have been engraved into the ebonite? The ebonite barrel. The ebonite barrel. R.M. Raymond Bomber. The initials of the defendant. No. Oh my god. Oh my damn. This fountain pen will be admitted immediately as critical evidence. The fountain pen has been entered into the court record. The pen that the victim was found grasping in her hand. It carries the initials RM. So, have I omitted anything? Decisive evidence, or decisive testimony and damning evidence. There's a bright blue sky outside the courthouse today. Perfect weather to ascribe guilt, I feel. You are a sick man. Wow. I don't understand. The prosecutor ouched you of 9 months ago had none of this man's poise. Well, that's because he hasn't been humbled yet. That's the only problem. Counsel for the defense, you may begin your cross-examination now. Naruhodo-san. Naruhodo. That means... Oh yes, me! Is there another Naruhodo in my courtroom? Actually, there isn't even a single Naruhodo in your courtroom. Cousin Ryutaro, pull yourself together, please. Alright, I've seen countless times as a judicial assistant, finding consistencies in the witnesses' testimonies to prove that they're lying somehow. That's all there is to it. That's how a real lawyer would handle a cross-examination. So let's see what I can do. They're katanas this time. That's cool. The witness scene. On the day of the incident, I was ordered on a special surveillance assignment in this disguise.
Hold it!
In that jaunty disguise? Correct. Wait, no! I mean, it wasn't the first time I've worn a swimsuit for a dip in the ocean. It's tried and tested. Duel must be done to keep the Englishwoman under surveillance. Those were my orders that day. And his tried and tested outfit was the answer. Being able to blend in flawlessly into a crowd is an important part of the detective's job. I submerged myself in the salty water, leaving only Mr. Turtle floating inconspicuously on the surface. Mr. Turtle loves the water. That's adorable. But there was no need for you to blend into the background on this assignment, really, was there? If that made you late arriving on the scene, I think perhaps you had your priorities wrong. Perhaps I shouldn't pursue this line of questioning any further at the moment. There you go. Oh my goodness. Excuse me. I just managed to catch the crab, and I suddenly heard a caterwaul from behind me.
Hold it!
You're describing the victim's scream, presumably, Saseki-san. In more literary terms, you might say it was a scream that could have pierced the heavens. Kia! Or the like. Of course, that's just a metaphor. We renowned authors are wont to describing things so. Saseki-san wasn't at all like this in England, at all. Anyway, I spun around at the noise and the beach hut immediately fell under my gaze. Yes, the beach hut. The area is popular with government ministers. Many have seaside retreats there for rest and recuperation. Locals are prohibited from entering the area, so it's always very quiet. The beach hut is a simple structure, erected as a place for people to change or take refuge from the sun. Although the Englishwoman commandeered the hut for herself, which meant that I was forced to change into my swimwear on the sand. I imagine that was rather embarrassing for you. Well, anyway, I tossed the crab aside and headed for the beach hut at a run. Or, in more literary terms, I decrabbed and beetled off I decrabbed and beetled off hotwise. I ran to the beach hut at once, where I found the pair in question.
Hold it!
Sorry, give me 1 second. There you go. Okay. Okay. Wait, by pair? You don't mean to say. But how could that be? No, you misunderstand. Obviously, I mean the victim and the defendant, Rei Mambami-san. Oh, would have been helpful if you could have just said that from the outset. You reach up to conclusions, you have to expect to fall flat on your face sometimes. Dear me, pinning your hopes on such an outside chance. Foolish. Very foolish. Well, he was an outside chance. Just wish I realized that before saying something silly. So, Inspector, why don't you tell the courts how exactly you found the information pair in the hut? Well, it was a sorry sight. A real grisly scene. I parted the Norn curtain hanging in a doorway and stepped inside, only to see the defendant leaning menacingly over the lifeless body of the victim sprawled over the sand. My glasses were nearly cracked at the ominous sight that met my eyes. How thoroughly appalling. Does appear to be lying here. Well, Saseki-san, you confirm what Inspector Hosonaga is saying, I wonder? You like a literary man's opinion? Yes. That girl was astride the Englishwoman, dagger in hand as she stabbed wildly.
Hold it!
Stabbed wildly? You actually saw her do it? Oh, indeed. The terrible spectre, the terrapin inspector, the bloody torrent, the author's torment. Eek! Every sight and every sound is still carved in my melancholy memory. That was my impression, at least, as a future literary sensation. Counsel, what on earth is that shrill, effeminate scream? No, what are you insinuating? I'm as manly as a Japanese man as you. I wonder if I might interject here, Saseki-san. Something you said is troubling me. That was my impression. Were your words just now, I believe. So, do you mean to say you're not confident that you really did see what you described? No, yes. I know what I saw. My ears didn't deceive me when I heard that scream, hence my eyes didn't deceive me either. I could describe everything I saw vividly. I could publish it all in tomorrow's newspaper serial. Sounds as though the next installment of I Am a Cat may take a macabre turn. I'm not reading it properly. I think this is a fool's errand. The more we press your author friend on what he saw, the more entrenched he's going to become. Oh dear, how awkward. I saw blood on the blade. It proved to me that she'd stabbed the victim multiple times. She was stabbed multiple times? How can you be sure of that? Very simply, from the blood on the blade. The blood? When I entered the hut, I saw the defendant holding the blade raised up in the air. Yes, that's right, I saw it too. Oh no, bro. And I noted that there was blood on the blade already at that point. In other words, the victim had already been stabbed at least once by the time I arrived in the scene. Yes, that's right. I saw it too. And the victim was already holding the defendant's fountain pen in her hand too. All of which means I can be sure the victim did not die instantly. Yes, right. I saw it too. Maybe a year in London was too much for him. Sounds like he's forgotten how to speak Japanese. The logic of your argument is sound, at least. Well, as I said, it is my guiding principle to carry out all testimonies flawlessly. Perhaps it should have been your guiding principle to protect the victim flawlessly? Wow, you are petty. That's just my personal opinion, of course. Man, petty. Counsel, you will refrain from mocking the witness. Suzuto, that was mean. Like, my goodness. All because the testimony's not going well, you don't have to hound people. Oh no. I just have so many thoughts rolling around in my head. That's all I can do to stand here, wide-eyed and mute. Goodness, my dear. You really must try to calm down. How am I supposed to find an inconsistency in what these two gentlemen are saying? I don't see why either of them would have any reason to lie. What you must remember, I think, is that the witnesses may inadvertently lie at times. For various reasons, a misunderstanding, a mistaken observation, a delusion even. Ah, a delusion. What's important is that we determine the truth. There's only one way to do that. Yes, with evidence, of course. Spoken like a true judicial assistant. During witness testimony, you can use E to pick a piece of evidence to present for consideration. So you need to listen carefully to each statement and compare what's said to the details in the court record. If you find some conflicting information, that may be the inconsistency you're looking for. Yes, it's all about inconsistencies. Once you've identified a witness's statement that appears to conflict with a piece of evidence, present the evidence to the witness with R, and the way ahead will present itself to you, I'm sure. Yes. Alright then. I'll consider the details of all the evidence in the court. Okay, sure, man. I'll consider the details of all the evidence in the court record against each statement to find an inconsistency. I hope I'm up to the task. Don't forget that you can have the witness repeat their statements as many times as you like. Everyone has to start at the beginning, remember. So those wide eyes are quite forgivable. And besides, someone else to defend the poor girl. You're right. You need to listen to the testimony again from the start. Nah, I'm good, man. I'm good.
Objection!
There you go. Oh, goodness. Is she cold? There you go. Okay. That accusatory cry that just welled up from deep inside me. I think I finally understand. Every time Kazuma-sama and Naruhodo-san have stood here at this bench, the stakes have been very, very high indeed. Well, what's the meaning of that pose? Or what's the meaning of that menacing pose, counsel? Like the witness would clarify something for me. Who? What? Where? Who? What? Where? When? How? Not you, Saseki-san. This query is directed at Inspector Hosonaga. At me? In your statement just now, you said that the victim was stabbed multiple times. Yes, that's right. As I said when I entered the hut, the defendant was already standing over the victim, bloody knife in hand like a murderous demon. And yet, that cannot be. Sorry, just give me 1 second. No, I'm pausing a lot, but... Yeah. Sorry about that. Okay. What? Get to the point, please, counsel. In the post-mortem report, it clearly states that the victim was stabbed 1 time only. Why did it cut off at just 1 cough? Oh no. In other words, Inspector Hosanaga's testimony is clearly flawed. That's a Seki-san. Me? You claim to have seen Mbami-san in the throes of stabbing the victim. Yes, I did. Wildly. But both you and the inspector confirm the same point. That there was already blood on the knife that you saw the victim hold, or the defendant holding. Yes, and it's quite simple. You know, the murder weapon was used to stab the victim only once. Therefore, there's no way there could have been blood on the knife if that single stabbing had it already occurred. True. So what exactly is your contention, counsel? You ever going to tell us? Yes, Your Excellency. So one logical conclusion. What Saseki-san in fact saw was not the moment that the defendant stabbed the victim at all, but the moment that the defendant in fact withdrew the blade from the victim's body. That can't be! Excellent work, Suzuto. You exploded at them with the objection, and I proceeded to pull them apart systematically. Objection! Only problem is that all because she pulled it out doesn't mean that, like, she wasn't the one who stabbed in the first place. If anything, kind of puts her in a more damning situation, but also, it's progress. It's unwinding the testimony right now. Well, this takes me back. Yes, I seem to remember your cousin staged a scene much like this in the trial 9 months ago. A half-witted child with a half-baked objection, attempting to steal a show. You're right. There were certain similarities. except that that so-called half-witted child managed to outwit the prosecution, who has only half a head of hair. Slander! My head is quite adequately dressed. Anyway, in any case, all this talk of stabbing and withdrawing and multiple wounds, it makes not a jot of difference. What? Why not? Engage your brain, young man. When the accused first plunged a deadly weapon into the victim, that was the fatal blow. And it was that moment, just as she had withdrawn the blade, ready for the next strike, that the witnesses saw. The knife was already tainted with blood, because the accused had already stabbed the victim. All you have successfully shown with your little display is that the mustached author is prone to moments of extravagance. I keep forgetting. I literally did this in the first trial as well. I have to put on the nasally inflection for him. Vocal inflection, there you go. I am in agreement with the prosecution. If the defendant was seen wielding a blade at all, that is sufficient grounds for her actions to be viewed with suspicion. But if she was withdrawing the blade, then we are back to where we started. Sorry? Consider this, young yokel boy. If the student girl is innocent as you claim, then why would she have pulled the blade from the victim, and with the demon's cold-blooded composure, too? The prosecution demands an explanation, and it better be good. Why did Ray pull out the knife? Ah, yes. Going for the jugular. What does Father mean by that? Let the court hear your answer then, counsel. There you go. Alright. Let the court hear your answer then, counsel. The truth is, I don't really know. But I have to come up with a plausible reason here. We don't have a case. The reason why the defendant pulled the knife blade out of the victim's body was surely so she could save her life. At the end of the day, like, someone is stabbed right in front of you. According to the post-mortem report, the victim's death was not instant. That's correct. It's thought she would have remained conscious for a short while after sustaining the injury. Indeed, giving her the time to take hold of this piece of evidence that clearly indicates her killer. The point is, being a medical research assistant, Membami-san was compelled to act when faced with the wounded victim. Instinctively, she pulled out the blade in an attempt to save Miss Brett's life. Did you hear that, Your Excellency? It would seem this is the best we can expect of this young yokel. Indeed. Is it just me, or does it suddenly feel much colder in here? Your Excellency, if I may. Speak, witness. I would like another opportunity to testify. In respect to the slipshod assertion just put forward by the yokel defense counsel, I mean. Goodness, why are they so mean to her? Well, granted, I guess Hosonaga does have more of a reason to be mean to her. Because of the fact that Suzuto is pretty mean to him, I can't lie. But like, wow, goodness, slipshod. An excellent idea, Inspector. A young yokel hopeful has a modicum of knowledge when it comes to the law, it seems. But in matters of medicine, he appears to possess not one iota of common sense. Very well, Inspector. I will permit your request. You will testify again before the court on the subject of the defense counsel's assertion. Yes, sir. I will do so flawlessly. Forensic Medicine Primer. I see. Yeah. Pulling a blade from a wound without thinking could cause heavy bleeding. That's basic knowledge that any medical research assistant with an ounce of sense ought to know. In other words, there's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife from the victim. Let's not forget that the young student did have a motive for killing the victim. The man the victim murdered 9 months ago, Dr. Wilson, was the defendant's highly respected mentor. Is what you said true, Inspector? Pulling a knife from a wound really caused the wound to bleed heavily. Yes, think of the weapon itself as a stopper on the wound that prevents excessive blood loss. Until the doctor is ready to provide proper treatment, the stopper shouldn't be removed. Oh, I see. Huh, this is why Yoko should stay on the farm. Even a quack from some obscure mountain village would have such basic knowledge. Anyone who's ever given someone a little poke with a knife and pulled it out again knows it. Have you? Oh, well, I've never stabbed anyone, you see. Or pulled the blade out of a wound, so... Of course you haven't. I didn't bring you out to behave like a bandit. Father, is it true? What are they telling me? What they're telling me? Yes, it's basic remedial knowledge for medics. Ray would have been well aware of it. If she were to claim ignorance of such fundamentals, that would prove fatal in many ways. But then, why would Ray have done it? Could she have pulled out the knife in full knowledge that it would be fatal for Miss Brett? I don't know. Ray never once mentioned anything about the knife to me. Seems almost impossible to believe, but... could my friend actually have... Suzuto! Yes? Pull yourself together. We mustn't lose sight of why we're here. Counsel, it's time for your cross-examination. Oh, yes, Your Excellency. However, I must warn you that if your cross-examination fails to identify any issue with the established facts, I will be moving to my adjudication immediately afterwards. I understand. Believing in your clients and fighting for their cause until the bitter end. That's funny. Until the bitter end. I know it would be hard, but I had no idea it would be this hard. Come on, Suzuto, you can't falter now. Forensic Medicine Primer. Pulling a blade from a wound without thinking could cause heavy bleeding. You say doing it without thinking could be a problem. Does that mean that if you use due care and attention, it would be hard? Or just being dumb at this point? I wouldn't have thought to see spelling out, really, but the blade is like a stopper in a wound. Removing a serious hemorrhage will occur. In other words, a medic would need to be present before any attempt was made to withdraw the blade. Doing it without thinking would be madness. Just can't do it. Oh, well, thank you for such a thorough explanation. You see, Counsel, when you act without thinking, the result is a bloodbath. Ugh. Back to the witness testimony, please. There you go. That's basic knowledge on any medical research that any medical... Oh my goodness. Has basic knowledge that any medical research assistant with an ounce of sense ought to know. In that case, there's an obvious explanation here. Which is... Clearly, the defendant, Raymond Bami-san, does not possess an ounce of sense. What do you think about that, Professor Mikotoba? I'm not sure that you should be labeling your best friend as lacking in common sense. Well, that'll be better than labeling her as a murderer. I don't know. You young people today, if that's friendship, I don't understand it. Careful, Counsel. A lack of common sense could be a very dangerous thing. Oh dear, that recalled on me rather badly. Suzuto, you're very spicy. You're very mean today. That's life, I'm afraid. A lesson everyone must learn. Hopefully you can see now that this is really basic medical knowledge. Being involved in medical research, Mbami-san would certainly have been aware of it. In other words, there's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife from the victim. But a defendant has suddenly encountered somebody she knew lying on the ground, bleeding to death. The sight could have shocked her delicate sensibilities, causing her to remove the blade inadvertently. I really don't think inadvertent actions can explain this. The woman is a medical research assistant. Can't imagine she would behave so irrationally. Oh, but rational behavior is a woman's prerogative, isn't it? Well, it's just sexist. Oh dear, you have a lot to learn about women. Only a small-minded man can have such bigoted views. Oh dear. Perhaps I'm letting my male persona take hold a little too much. Well, I managed to convey the basics now. I should cover the medical side of the argument. Let's not forget that the young student did have a motive for killing the victim. Whatever the motive, it just isn't in Mbami-san's nature to do something so awful. But she had both motive and opportunity. That's very hard to argue against. But you don't know the defendant. And you, Counsel, do not appear to know the law. Yes, evidence is the only way to convince the court of your argument, not feelings. With this, fletching to defend her, I would almost say I pity the accused. So do I. Inspector, you will reiterate your point about the defendant's motive, please. Ah, yes. Miss Brett was in many ways the sworn enemy of Mbami-san. The man the victim murdered 9 months ago, Dr. Wilson, was the defendant's highly respected mentor. Well, yes, that's true. Dr. Wilson recognized Mbami-san's talent and offered her the desist. Goodness, my goodness. Talking is just a little bit hard today. A little bit hard. There you go. Okay, just had to give myself a second to calm down so I could talk normally again. Dr. Wilson recognized Mambami-san's talent and offered her the position of assistant despite her being a woman. She was extremely grateful to him. Yes, the Englishman appears to have been a very broad-minded individual. Dr. Wilson had no time for outdated traditions. He met with opposition, of course. He met with opposition, of course, but he believed firmly in Mambami-san's abilities. Clearly the defendant was in a man's debt, which only serves to prove my point. It's just hopeless. I can't find a single crack in his testimony anywhere. If Rain knew that withdrawing the knife from the wound would threaten Miss Brett's life further, I just can't think of any way to explain why she did it. Suzuto, it is times like these when it's especially important to remember the fundamentals. The fundamentals? The evidence is what counts in a courtroom, isn't it? Of course, but I've been through the court record dozens of times already. I think perhaps you're forgetting something now. You need to take the evidence at face value. You can and must examine it in greater detail too. I realize that this is your first time playing the role of a lawyer in a courtroom, so if you need reminding of the rudiments, you need only ask. I'll do my very best to help. Examine the evidence in the court record. It's an idea, certainly. Yeah, I know what to do. I'm good. Kind of think of it. Kazuma-sama and Naruhodo-sama were always turning evidence over and over in their hands. Yes, you need to examine things in greater detail with space. Ah, bullocks in your eyes. I see it's coming back to you. Go to the court record again and have a thorough look at everything. You may find it clear. Yes, I'll do it straight away. I'll do it straight P. P. Me and my boys when we're looking for poop. Let's see. Me and the P. Look at this. Look at all these people with their hand-drawn portraits. If we take the pen's lid off. Oh, here, excuse me. Now let's unscrew the barrel, shall we? This must be the little reservoir that holds the ink. Yes, you fill it by drawing ink from a bottle up to the nib. Is something wrong, Father? Just that there doesn't actually appear to be any ink in there, that's all. Ah, yes, you're right. It's pretty much empty. Well, it could be on the verge of running out, I suppose. The details of the fountain pen have been updated in the court record. There's a very small amount of liquid still inside. Oh wait, no. Hold on, let me just read the whole thing. A fountain pen bearing the initials RM that has a small reservoir inside into which ink can be drawn. There's a very small amount of liquid still inside. Oh, it finally shows. Thank goodness it finally shows. There you go. The RM initials are very clearly engraved here. The fact that Miss Brett was clinging to this pen in her dying moments is very clearly a message too. To identify her killer, you mean? I don't think there could be any doubt that this is a key piece of evidence in this case. Thank goodness. Because I remember in the first game it was annoying when you were looking through evidence and you couldn't tell what was already examined. You just had to go off of memory. Some sort of symbol here, look. But isn't it a Yume University one? You must belong to some other organization, I suppose. A business of some kind. But that would seem to imply that the pen doesn't in fact belong to Ray. Ooh. Yeah, seems like that's everything. Yep, alright. I gotta get my phone off of my lap. It's bothering me. Hey little kitties, on my lap. Guess who's back with a brand new rap? And I don't mean rap as in a new case of child investigation accusations. No worries. Almost got a brand new bag of toys. What else did I gotta do? Make noise and everything but little boys. Okay. Raucous England returnees tell all. That's the interview with you and Sasaki-san, is it, father? Looks as though it was quite an exchange. Yes, he became a little over-animated when he was talking about his time in England. The photographer managed to capture the moment his hand karate chopped me in the neck. I do hope you weren't hurt. I didn't notice that. That's funny. But as always with Ace Attorney newspapers, you gotta turn it around. It's the newspaper from Sasaki-san. Needs to be an important article on the back page as well. Exclusive. Deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. From Yume Medical's research. Father, isn't that your lab? What the? Let me see that. The poison's been stolen. It's this morning's paper that Sasaki-san gave us. Are you saying you didn't know? As embarrassing as that is for the head of the laboratory, I didn't. I've not heard of any such thing. Where on earth could the reporter have gleaned this information? Come to think of it, there's no article mentioning the story in our paper this morning, was there? It's a highly toxic poison we've been working on in the strictest of confidence. I put Ray in charge of the project. Ray? She was managing it. Oh, excuse me, sorry. My goodness. If what's written here is true, it means that she tried to hide that theft from me. And moreover, the details were leaked somehow. I don't believe it. I need to read this article very carefully. The article about the poison has been entered to the court record. An article about the poison that was stolen from a laboratory at Yume University. Even my father, who was responsible for the lab, knew nothing of the incident. Alright, yep, okay. Exclusive. Deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. Following the lecture at Yume by Sasaki Natsume on 11th of August, it comes to light that a very disturbing incident took place. A deadly poison being secretly developed into the university's forensic science laboratory was stolen. In the smallest, deadly in tiny quantities. In the small amount of entering even the smallest amount entering the body, either via the mouth or via a wound from a poison-laced blade, would prove fatal in minutes. Current methods cannot detect the newly developed chemical. The university would have to be consulted. Why is the poison being developed? Onset of symptoms occurs in minutes, starting with impaired breathing and ending with an acute contraction of the pupils prior to death. Such symptoms would be suggestive of this toxin. It's apparently an entirely new synthesis of alkaloids, a rumor to have been commissioned by the military. So the thing is, she has reason. I imagine they'll like... Yeah. Okay, no, I get it now. I get it. Let me save. Oh, it just uses the same slots. Oh, okay. Well, shoot, that's interesting. Alrighty. Adventures. Resolve. So cool. So cool. Oh, you a fool for this one. Present.
Objection!
Yeah, okay. No. There's one possibility. One very good reason why the defendant might have decided to withdraw the knife from the victim's wound. What? Huh. The Yoko not only has a poor grasp of the law, but is also a poor loser. Tell us then, what possibility do you think you've identified? It's here, in this newspaper article. An article about a deadly poison having been stolen from a laboratory at the Imperial Yuma University. The victim perished from a stab wound. Poison has no relevance in this case. But, Prosecutor Alchi, you will let the defense speak. But a newspaper article? The court cannot rely on the kind of hearsay those wretched publications carry. Counsel for the defense. I am going to need some tangible basis for your claim. You will indicate to the court precisely what part of the newspaper article mentioned affirms your assertion. Your Excellency! Yes, of course. Thank you. Ray would never have done something to further endanger Miss Brett's life without just cause. The reason why the defendant pulled the knife from the victim's body is explained in the article where it says... Okay, I gotta remember. Hold on. Yep, deadly in tiny quantities. There you go. The article reveals the following property about the poison in question. When the toxin enters the body on a knife laced with poison, it is rapidly absorbed and causes death in minutes. Are you suggesting? If the knife used to attack Miss Brett was laced with this very poison, it would explain why the defendant, Membami-san, would have withdrawn the blade as soon as possible. Yes, the truth is, it was an attempt to stop the poison from entering the victim's body.
Objection!
This is complete and utter nonsense. Not at all. The defendant withdrew the knife blade from the victim's body not to accelerate the woman's demise, but to save her life. And the prosecution cannot deny the possibility. If you don't read the post-mortem report, the cause of death was hemorrhage. The word poison appears nowhere in the document. Well, that's because by acting quickly to remove the blade, the defendant prevented the poison from taking...
Objection!
Oh, please. This is clearly desperation. The weasel's last breaking of the wind. Poison has nothing whatsoever to do with this case, as I believe the defense is well aware. We have no proof that the information in this wretched newspaper article is at all reliable anyway. In that situation, what the student should have done is wait for her medical assistants to arrive. But instead, you claim she suspected poisoning and took the potentially lethal decision to remove the blade. She must have had a strong reason for her suspicions then, but the argument makes no sense. Exactly. Well put, Inspector. On what grounds does she do it? Yokel? Why did Ray suspect the stolen poison was involved? If you want grounds, I'll give you grounds. What? You can't possibly... From your expression, Counsel, it would appear as those are not empty words. But naturally, as you stand in this courtroom as a lawyer, you must be aware that words alone, empty or not, are of no value in our modern justice system. The court demands evidence. Yes, Your Excellency. I'm well aware of that. I've seen it many times from my place at a side in the Old Bailey. In that case, Counsel, you will present the proof to the court now. What evidence demonstrates a clear link between this case and the poison in the newspaper article? I imagine probably the pen, right?
Take that!
Ooh, maybe not, actually. How exactly would you explain this piece of evidence's connection to the newspaper article? In truth, I'm not really sure. But my father always taught me that. Asked my elders whenever I was in trouble. So I thought I should ask your opinion, Excellency. If it is advice you seek, Counsel, I suggest that before indiscriminately thrusting evidence under my nose, why not thrust it under the nose of the professor at your side? I think he means you. Good grief! Thrusting that under my nose isn't going to solve anything here. We must use our heads. The articles and paper had details of the toxin. Now, where have we seen similar details? Does nowhere come to mind. You may not have to search through all the evidence looking for that. If I'm mistaken, it appears the evidence of your elders has given you an idea. Yes, like another chance to present evidence if I may, Your Excellency. In that case, Counsel. Okay, whatever. What in the world is extreme meiosis? That's what it was, of course.
Take that!
Yeah, that makes sense. Alright. I would ask the court to refer to the notes section of the post-mortem report, which reads, extreme meiosis, pupil constriction, which was observed in the victim. Clearly, being a yokel with no knowledge of forensic science, I have no idea. So please, do tell me. Presumably, the fact that this condition of the victim was noted in the post-mortem report means that it's an unusual symptom of death. Well, under normal circumstances, the pupils dilate when someone dies. If there was an extreme constriction instead, that's most certainly unusual, yes. What are you doing, you yokel detective? In the newspaper article, there's the following information about the stolen poison. Onset symptoms occur in minutes, ending with the acute contraction of the pupils prior to death. What? What are you talking about, Jit? If the defendant, upon seeing the victim stabbed in the back, happened to notice that the pupils of Miss Brett's eyes had constricted severely. Yes, as a medical research assistant, she would have suspected poison immediately, without a doubt. Professor Ouchie, Prosecutor Ouchie, I think you'll agree, this is very compelling evidence. You, Yoko student and Yoko professor! I believe the defense has expertly demonstrated a credible reason for the defendant's actions. No. Yujin Mikotoba. Yes, Your Excellency. I believe you are best placed here to confirm or deny the veracity of the defense counsel's argument. You will tell the court the truth about the details reported in this newspaper, please. It pains me to have to admit it, but I'm afraid I don't know. You don't know? The toxin was kept under lock and key in my laboratory, certainly. But I was unaware of any theft. Do you mean to tell me the court that? Do you mean to tell the court that the reports of this theft are? Oh my goodness! Do you mean to tell the court that the reports of this theft are unfounded? No, Your Excellency. Without returning to the laboratory to investigate myself, I couldn't say. Ha! Listen to the bumbling academic. Unaware of the theft to a secret state research from his own workplace until he reads of it in a newspaper. You will be touched. You are going to get slimed. Like, it's unavoidable at this point. I take full responsibility for the incompetence of my supervision. Father! A pitiful situation for a university student or professor. Should have more control over your students rather than allowing them off on killing sprees. Wow, that is baseless and slander. that's totally unfounded. None of this is Professor Mikotoba's fault. It's all my fault. Ray, Membami-san. You stand here accused. Outbursts like this will not be tolerated. But it was me. I was the one who noticed that the poison we were developing had been stolen that day. What? So you knew. I've been placed in charge of overseeing the project. It was the day that the professor and Saseki-san were interviewed together for the newspaper. That was when I noticed that some of the poison I was missing. Just a tiny amount it was. Why didn't you let me know immediately? I was scared. The whole project was supposed to be confidential, but some of the toxin had somehow been taken. So, I decided to try to get it back before anyone else found out. Because I had a very good idea who the thief was. The thief? You don't mean... Yes, of course. It was the dainty Englishwoman. Miss Giselle Brett. That's why I decided to join a little group of people going to the seaside. Inside the beach hut, I confronted Miss Brett. But she just sat on a stool at the back of the hut, smiling sweetly at me as if she knew she was untouchable. I knew it was you who stole the poison. Well now, whatever do you mean? And then, she suddenly got to her feet, before falling to her knees in front of me, and then collapsing on the floor. That's when I saw the knife on her back. I couldn't understand what had just happened. And then, a moment later, I was seized with fear. The pupils of her eyes they'd shrunk to tiny pinpoints. I don't believe it. In other words, you realized the victim was suffering the effects of stolen poison. My mind started racing. Hadn't seen anything past Miss Brett's lips once I'd been with her. Was left only one possible way for the poison to have entered her body. On the blade of a knife in her back. And that train of thought was what spurred you to withdraw the blade. Yes, if the amount that had entered her bloodstream was small enough, she might still have a chance. That's what I hoped. Really, I'm sorry for staying silent this whole time. Your attempt to hide the truth of what happened is not something that could be overlooked. However, I have duly noted the courage with which you confessed in the end. Thank you, Your Excellency. It's barely perceptible, but I do think the balance has shifted a little here, in this courtroom now. Your Excellency, do not be deceived. The victim just collapsed before your eyes, you say. Well, Membami-san, if that's the case, perhaps you could explain how Miss Brett came to be stabbed. Well, you have no answer because the simple truth is that you stabbed the victim motivated by revenge. We have no conclusive evidence to prove that assertion, do you? Oh, I have evidence. It's very much conclusive. What's the prosecution up to? It was brief, but he hesitated for a moment there. Almost sure of it. You reproduced the aforementioned evidence at once, Prosecutor Ouch. Perhaps some praise is due, young Yoko student. What? I'd imagine there would be no need for me to submit this evidence. But you brought this on yourself. What the? Could a more damning shot exist? The cruelty in the air of that beach is almost palpable. This evidence, more than any other, reveals the true extent of the accused's murderous nature. For it shows the precise moment that Membami-san plunged her dagger into the victim's back. No, it's not true, no! I don't believe it. Order! Well, I mean, it's pretty easy to tell that, oh, well, it's not going to show it here, not yet, but... Counsel for the defense. Was it you who was responsible for that show scream that just pierced my courtroom? Perhaps his voice is yet to break. These yokels are slow of mind and slow to mature. That is just weird, man. What's wrong with you? I'll show you who's slow to mature. Careful now. Zisto's starting to show her face here. It is often said that a picture is worth 1,000 words, and here we have ample proof. The court will accept this extremely seen this work before. Cogent, okay. The court will accept this extremely cogent photographic print as evidence. The incriminating photograph has been entered into the court's record. The photographic print taken at the moment the victim was attacked. My friend Ray can be seen kneeling over Miss Brett. Can't believe he's had a photograph like that up to sleeve the whole time. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. It looks like someone who's trying to pull a knife out. That doesn't look like someone plunging it in. Yeah, it looks like someone pulling it out. It's such a stark image. I'm generally lost for words. Wait a minute, I don't understand. How did you... I mean, who took that photograph? Ray.
Objection!
That's of no importance here. Stop trying to divert attention. No, that is important. That is very important. Because someone being there to take the photograph means that there was another witness there as well. Over here acting like that's not important. What are you talking about, man? We cannot be serious.
Objection!
That's an absurd thing to say. It's crucially important. Whoever took this photographic print was a witness to Miss Brett's death. The court must be allowed to hear this person's testimony. The court said it's super ignorant. What are we talking about? Like, I'll uphold the defense's demand. The prosecution will reveal the identity of the person responsible for taking this photograph at once. Well, I'm afraid I can't do that. Pardon? You see, this print arrived at the Imperial Police Bureau headquarters by express post yesterday, but there was nothing to indicate the sender's name or address. The provenance of the print is unknown. Goodness! Are we to understand then, counsel, that in full knowledge of that fact that this photograph has the murkiest of origins, you nevertheless believe it fit for submission as evidence in the Supreme Court? When you first produced the print before, notice that you hesitated for a brief moment. Because you knew it wasn't completely reliable evidence, didn't you? Silence, you Yoko student and blabbering professor. What matters is the blatant truth that this print so eloquently expresses. But a defendant has already admitted to pulling the blade from the wound. Clearly, this isn't the moment that the knife was plunged into the back, but the moment it was withdrawn. Don't waste this court's time with your ramblings. Indeed, without knowledge of who produced this print, you have no means of verifying the claim. And this unit captures is without a doubt the most compelling evidence presented to the court. If the defense is unable to shed any further lights on the matter, I believe their conclusion is clear. No. Let me see something real quick. Oh no. Susan, it's time for you to fight. But if you establish so far is true, if what you established so far is true, then there can be no doubt. This photograph shows the moment that Ray withdrew the blade from the victim. Yes, you just need to prove that somehow. You have plenty of time to rue your defeat on a slow train back to the provinces. to the day you were the day you came up against Takatsuchi Ouchi in the court of law. If I can't determine who took this photograph, then the trial is going to come to an end. There must be a clue somewhere. There must be some way of working out who took it. Well, counsel? Your Excellency, the burning question is who took that photograph, and the truth is... hold on. There you go. Alright. Well, this is difficult, but we ball, so. It's blue instead of red. I have the answer. It's the Ace Attorney. Of course we have the answer. It's about whether I can or can't come up with the answer now. I simply have to. The identity of the person who took this dramatic photographic print is, I assure you, something the defense can and will reveal. What? No, you can't possibly. But, as you so boldly claim that you can, please, do enlighten us. Unfortunately, I'm unable to present a name. Heartily underwhelming. Do you really believe you could? However, I am able to present evidence. The defense is a piece of evidence that reveals important details about the photographer's identity. What? Very well then, counsel. Present your proof to the court. Which piece of evidence do you claim reveals something about the identity of the mystery photographer? It would be... I think it would be this, right?
Take that!
Yeah, it would be the same person. What is that? The newspaper again. Raucous England returnees tell all. It's not the headline that's relevant here, Your Excellency. It's the photograph. If you look at it closely... Wait, can you actually see that in other pictures? I didn't notice that. Because it wasn't there. It was there. Wow. Okay. Because, like, that was my only way of, like, assuming that it was, I stumbled up the stairs, basically. That's what happened. If you look at it closely, you notice that there are some white lines on the right-hand side. Oh, yes, indeed. They already caught my eye as it happens. Huh, what of it? A shadow of some kind, presumably, from the branches of a tree or the like. They were indoors, dog. What are you talking about? Yeah. There are no trees growing inside my laboratory at the university, I can assure you. Now, if you look closely at this photograph, good gracious! Yes, exactly the same pattern of lines is present in the photograph too. Well, that tells us nothing. Huh, yes, it's a shadow of some kind, definitely, from the branches of a tree. There wouldn't be any trees growing inside a hut at the beach council. What's quite remarkable about this is that the two patterns are absolutely identical. How could such an extraordinary similarity have transpired? The curious matching pattern that appears on both photographic prints is a result of, yep, a camera defect. It's a crack on the lens. Obviously, it must be due to a problem with the camera used to take the photographs. With the photographic device? Yes, We can confidently say that the camera's lens must be scratched. That the scratched lens causes unwanted lines to appear on every print taken with the device. In short, the two photographs under consideration here were taken with the same camera. But there must be hundreds of such camera devices here in the capital. It will be utterly impossible to identify the owner of this particular one. I think you're forgetting, Prosecutor Alchi. One of the photographs featured in a newspaper article. A newspaper. Ah. That's right. The author of the article is the mystery witness to this crime. What? What did that say? Many memo. Huh, okay. I see what you recall the raucous England returnee. What are you yelling about? You already testified. It's many memo, I tell you. Many memo. Memo. Sasaki-san? What was that? Did you just say many memo? Ever since I returned to Japan, a reporter from the Shoyu News has been hounding me, following my every move. A reporter by the name of Write-in Many Memo. You get it? Write in Many Memo. Yes, hounding me from dawn till dusk. Now that he mentions it. They secretly spy, snap shots, scribble stories, and scupper my privacy. That same reporter be. A camera to the left of him, a notebook to the right. There I am, stuck in the middle with Write-in Many Memo. So you're saying this picture was taken by Many Memo? Yes. My lord, your excellency, Esquire. Officer, find this newspaper reporter at once and bring him to my courtroom. We will adjourn for a short recess in the meantime. Oh, yes, your excellency. As you say, your excellency. And one more thing. I want this knife, the murder weapon, examined for traces of poison. We will solicit the assistance of the Imperial University's medical department for the task. You understand? Many memo. And there you go. The first to be continued for this game. Look at that different jingle. Oh, we are right. Okay, that's funny. So for investigations, it's Holmes, or excuse me, Sholmes, and then for trials, it's Naruhodo. That's cool. More you know. 13th of August, 10:41 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendant's Antechamber 3. continue, let me see something. There you go. Do this. Gotta go over to I had to change the thumbnail for the stream because I realized I'm using the wrong logo for this thing. Gotta go with the updated one. See if I can find it here. Yep, that's how it was for the first game, and then you look here. Yeah. Where in the world did I get this logo? Huh. I think I'm gonna have to fix this. I think I'm gonna have to fix this when I go through. Okay. Well, yeah, let me fix it now then. Like, yeah. Okay, that should be good. Change the thumbnail. There you go. Alright, the thumbnail should be better. I do have to go through and try to change the thumbnail for all of these, but maybe not. I don't know. It really all depends. if I feel like it, honestly. Anyways, yeah. Back to it. I'm so sorry, Suzuto. Should have told you about the toxin. Ray. You have a strong sense of responsibility, I know. so I decided to shoulder the burden all alone. No, that's not it at all. I was scared of my failure coming to light. That's all. So I hope to retrieve the substance from the Englishwoman before anyone found out. Before the trial started, do you remember what you said, Suzuto? You have no doubt in your mind about my innocence. That you stand by me to the last. I remember. And yet I didn't deserve your trust in me. I had important details from you, Suzuto. I completely betrayed your faith in me. Hit me, Suzuto. I deserve it. No, in fact, throw me to the floor. No, that's too good for me as well. Drag me to the streets. Drag me to the city streets. I know better, you know. Oh? You know, in my heart I knew that you pulled the knife blade from Miss Brett's back. There was just a brief moment when, in my mind, I doubted you. Suzuto, I'm sorry. After I stood here and promised that I'd be by your side, Tuesday I stand by you and always be by your side, I betrayed your faith in me too. And as such, I failed you as a lawyer. Oh, well no. In a situation has taught both of you a very valuable lesson. Placing your unbridled faith in another is no easy task. Yes, Father, the fact has certainly struck home. Which is why I can see more clearly now. So, Ray. Yes? Can you find it in your heart to forgive me? Oh, Suzuto. You know, you'll always be my gallant, dashing lawyer in my eyes. Oh, Ray. I was so scared, you know, when it happened. I didn't know what was going on. The Englishwoman was sitting at the back of the hut, listening to what I was saying. I knew it was you who stole the poison. Well now, whatever do you mean? And then, a moment later, she suddenly got to her feet. Before collapsing on the floor in front of me, with a knife in her back. That all happened right before my eyes. And we were the only people in the hut at the time. That's right. Just Miss Brett and myself. There was no one else. So I just don't understand how she could possibly have been stabbed like that. A great mystery indeed. I still can't believe it happened. That's why I couldn't bring myself to speak up. It will be alright. However it happened, and whatever really went on by that sea that day, I promise you, I'm going to prove everything you said you saw is true. Spoken like a true Mikotopa. Now, I think we should discuss what's coming up in the trial, don't you? We don't have much time. We must make sure we have our facts in order. Yes, I expect the poison is going to come under close scrutiny in the upcoming proceedings. The police should hopefully have identified it on the blade by now. The trouble is, it's a completely new laboratory synthesized blend of alkaloids or alkaloids. The police won't have any way of testing for it. There you go. Oh, I see. Yes. Without the chemical reagent, it's impossible to detect the toxin. Chemical reagent? I sent a colleague of mine off with some earlier to deliver the... Oh, I can't talk, oh my goodness. I sent a colleague of mine off with some earlier to deliver to police headquarters. I think perhaps you should have some as well, though, just in case. The chemical reagent has been entered into the court's record. What's the matter, Suzuto? You're suddenly very quiet. It's the newspaper article. Exclusive. Deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. I'm wondering how the information got out, given that it was a government secret. It was all the Englishwoman's doing. Huh? It was when the professor and Saseki-san were being interviewed at the laboratory. That so-called English lady swanned in, and without any compunction said to Professor Mikotoba, "Hello, Professor. Surely your guests would love to hear about your work on a substance there." Put me in a very awkward position, to be frank. But Saseki-san's curiosity had been piqued, so I had little choice but to give him a cursory introduction. So then, Saseki-san knew about the poison? Yes, and it's highly likely that the reporter who was writing up the story about us would have caught a glimpse of the toxin too. This, many memos, son. By the way, did our reporter join you all when you went to the beach? Oh, no. I don't remember the reporter being there. Indeed, he shouldn't have been. I very much doubt anyone would have wanted him there. A known criminal had been given permission by the authorities to bathe by the seaside. Saseki-san pointed out that inviting a reporter might be problematic, so the man was sent back to his office. Yet he obviously didn't go back. He secretly followed the party to the beach and took a very candid photo, and then presumably he posted it anonymously to the police. Yes, that must be what happened. Counsel, we just heard that the new witness is now ready to testify. The trial is about to resume. Please proceed into the courtroom at once. It's time to steal ourselves once again. Defense attorney, Ryutaro Naruhodo. Yes. Ray has put her faith in me now and told me everything. So I can't let her down. I have to prove that what she's telling the court is true. I have to prove what really happened that day. "13th of August, 11:30 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 1. Alrighty, I think this would be a good point to stop. Wanted to continue because I wanted to get to 3 hours, but I know that I don't know how long this trial is going to be, so I don't want to continue here and then next stream be like an hour. So, you know, I think this is a good point to stop. But yeah, so. The greatest attorney resolve, you know, starting a new game. But in reality, it probably doesn't feel like that considering we're picking back up with the second game. But you know, we ball. Anyways, though, yeah. Until then, you know, I'll try to get you guys some streams in between me making this video, but definitely don't expect too many until the video's done. But you know, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, until then, thank y'all for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.